if it isn't the man with the helping hands, look who stepped up to the plate. It's Brother Greatness. It's stirring the pot with my very special guest with the helping hands, the
Yes,
healing
sir.
hands. You name it, he's doing it for stirring the pot. It's Brother Greatness. Thank you so much, my man.
Oh, hello, my brothers. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on such short notice, my brother.
I put it out, had a little bump in the road. I've been doing 3 interviews a night after work, and again, a little bump in the road. Here comes Brother Greatness to the save. And man, boys and girls, if you don't know who Brother Greatness is, I'm telling you, get on the Twitter, the face page, whatever you got to do. Type up some Brother Greatness, and we'll get into that after. But you have to see some Brother Greatness now.
Thank you, brother.
Brother Greatness, what we do here, we pull the curtain back just a little bit.
Just a little bit, all right?
Yeah. You don't have to get too. We don't want to get into your personal stuff, not like that. Because
Okay, no
I mean, I stalk you. I follow you, but I mean, you know. Oh, what the heck? I took you for a ride, my friend.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
Colors.
Wow. You got me amped up. I got Brother Greatness. Whoo, man, I better watch my stuff. So, Brother Greatness, we pull it back a little bit. We talk about behind the character of wrestling. And we just kind of maybe tell a couple cool antidote stories down the road. We'll see how that goes. But what we like to do, get your origin, see where you're from, and all of that cool stuff. But I want to start in one place particular, okay? And I think you know where I'm going. First off, are you, your family, everybody's good?
Everyone's safe. Everyone's healthy in the immediate family. A few friends and some people I consider family. Got a few people in the hospital, but we're praying on everybody, and hopefully all will be well.
Well, we wish them well. We wish them well. I know I'm a little amped up. I don't do cocaine. You got me. My adrenaline's going. So I apologize for that.
No, you're good. You're good. I appreciate the hype. I appreciate the excitement.
Yeah, baby. So the very first time that I ever saw Brother Greatness, and I know I don't know because he might not remember. My father and I, we went to go could you tell me the fitness name? I never remember.
The fitness name?
The building, the something fitness.
Oh, Darrow's Extreme Fitness. Yeah. 1123
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. In the Bronx, and I'd never been to this place. So my dad and I, we took a drive. We went to go see some NutriaSex. He hasn't been in that area in a while. And then, some matches are happening. The crowd is crazy there. Nothing like around here. It's really different.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
All of a sudden, Brother Greatness, he comes out. My dad goes, "Who's that little guy?" I go, "I don't know, but he's got some energy. I'm digging this." And then Vince Steele, Juggernaut, the Juggernaut,
the Jurassic Juggernaut. Yes, sir.
Holy crap! This guy's gigantic. He's huge. You tall, big, you name it. And he took Brother Greatness within the match, threw him. Threw him like I don't know, like a weapon of some kind. But when he threw him, there's a big, gigantic concrete columns that keep the said building together. And Brother Greatness' body felt that very firsthand. And not only that, it kind of wrapped around and then sprung back, hit the ground. I know I'm excited. I am so sorry. I'm taking up all the time. This is about Brother Greatness, but I need to know a couple things. How the hell did you survive? First off, how did you survive? Okay. Second off, how did you continue your wrestling career? Third off, how did you die? I don't know.
Listen, man, as soon as that man picked me up, he looks at the column, looks over at me, and we just kind of have that moment of, all right, so this is about to happen. It's like, yep. And all he's thinking is, I just need to make sure he hits the column. All I'm thinking is I need to not break anything when I hit the column. So all you hear is that loud splats. I just try to keep all my extremities out of direct contact, and splattered like a bug, and then landed directly on the concrete floor. Not a good day. Not a good day.
Was it an on-the-fly call?
No, it was something that was actually discussed. We were backstage talking about a lot of different things. And he goes, I want to do something kind of cool with you. And I'm like, well, what do you think? And he's like, I don't know. I want to throw you at something. I'm like, well, there's a whole column over there. So rather you throw me at the column than throw me anywhere else. And while we're talking about that, another wrestler, Mike Superstar Whiplash, pops out of nowhere and goes, it'd be great, choke slam him outside the ring onto the concrete. And I was like, nah, y'all gonna just throw me. Just throw me. It's okay. It's okay. I probably should have took the choke slam. Probably should have. But yeah, everyone always remembers it.
In hindsight, right? In hindsight.
In hindsight, yeah, I was kind of I was done with training and working out for about a week after that, and needed to take some time.
Well, that's actually was going to be part of it. It took you a little bit, I'm sure, because we love wrestling. We know, that wrestling is what wrestling is.
Yes,
but man, I was like, that dude's not coming back for a while. And then, because I do try to follow what's going on in certain places.
Yeah.
You're right back on the horse doing the thing all over again. I text my dad. I go, hey, you remember that dude that we saw die in that concrete column? And he's like, yeah. I go, he's back already. He goes, shut the F up. I go, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, man. I wrestle the next weekend.
like holy cow. To do that as a performer, you have to be a fine-tuned machine, my friend, to be able to take something like that. Do you work out regularly throughout the week?
Absolutely. There's no any performer that's not working out a minimum 4 times a week. I don't really understand how they make anything happen. If you look at footage of me from back then versus footage of me now, I look like I ate myself. Like it's you got to keep working out. As soon as we're done with this, like I have my whole little bench here. The iPad is literally on the workout bench. Like as soon as we're done here, I'm hitting the weights for probably about 2 hours.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think I heard notifications. And if I did, I did. And I apologize. I apologize for that. My bad. I do this all the time. I'm forgetful. I'm not that bright. It is what it is. We're good. We're good now. So yeah, working out, staying fit. Do you have what I've never really asked? Do you have an eating regimen? Is there a specific diet that a said wrestler, like personally, that you go by?
Yeah. So for me, I always try to stick to like counting macros and trying to determine like, all right, I eat about like anywhere between 4 to 6 times a day. Those are like the main meals, a couple snacks, because I'm always trying to gain more muscle, gain more mass. I'm a smaller guy, so that's what I'm looking to do. But if you're speaking to like a Dan the Man or a Nathaniel Carr, they'll probably tell you a whole different story what they're doing. But I know what I need for me. I need more size, more mass. So protein and peanut butter is my life.
Hey, I like peanut butter. I mean, hey, I'm down. I love me some fluffernutter action. Anytime, I'm good. Now, you spoke of Dan the Man. And then, again, personally, for each to their own, they have to build for their own personal style, how their body, what they need and, need to accomplish.
Right.
So again, individualization. It's not what Brother Greatness does that you need to do, but try to get something. Hey, and I shouldn't be the one talking. Mr. SOG Ronnie Ribb says I weigh like 35 pounds. So I mean, I probably talking. But yeah, to do it, I think you kind of need to be a specimen of some kind. You got to have some kind of training, not just the wrestling, but you're. Yeah, absolutely. Now you spoke of Dan the Man. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth personally. Just saying.
No, I agree with you. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him as an individual.
Thank
Don't
you.
Start on Dan the Man.
Actually, I am, because you mentioned him, my friend, not me. So
that's what I get. Okay, fair.
Sure. Because I don't write nothing down. This is raw. This is like organic. Organic is kind of over cliche, if you will, but This is organic, my friend. It's two goombas hanging out and talking Brother Greatness and a little bit of Dan the Man. So Dan the Man, crazy guy, builds storyline after storyline, and he's got thing going on. The kind of demeaning the women just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yes. And so forth and so on. You, my friend, I've seen have some run-ins with Mr. Dan the Man, Team Shazam. Could you take us on a ride, the fans that don't even know of Brother Greatness, first off, and or Dan the Man, because I enjoy those rides that you guys and girls give us. And I want to be able to introduce your characters, your experiences through, hopefully it's just not my mom and dad watching. I apologize. That would be my fault. I hope not. But give the fans a little ride on what it's like to work with Dan the Man.
Okay, well, all right. First and foremost, for the people who don't know who I am, I'm a follower of the Lord, a friend of God, the wrestling Christian on the road to greatness. My name is Brother Greatness, just another brother from the church trying to spread the word in the ring. You know, turning the squared circle into the altar.
Mhm.
Now, Dan the Man, who has been a champion pretty much everywhere that he's wrestled, but primarily where we connect the most is out of Test of Strength, Slick Wagon Brown spot. East Hartford, Connecticut, 87 Church Street. Dan the Man annoys me to my core as a human being. You told me to be raw and honest. I'm going to be raw and honest. He annoys me heavily. That man backstage, it's the loudest voice you're going to hear backstage. He has his whole colony of individuals he calls Team Shazam. The man is a colonizer. He is that's how I feel. He's disrespectful towards women. He's disrespectful to officiants, which is why Gina had to pop him. Like the man is a hot mess. I call him Daniel the Boy personally, but Dan the Man is a mess. I've never had to wrestle him. I've never had a one-on-one contest with Dan the Man. We've never had tag team contests together. Nothing. It's all just stuff backstage. I swear to you, we have 3 or 4 promotions we've worked at together. A 5th one is coming up, but the virus, so everything got slowed down. But never one-on-one, never face-to-face into the ring, only backstage. All this animosity.
Wow, as much as I've seen you at because I don't remember a whole lot, but I mean, I've seen you at Test of Strength many a time. Dan the Man, that's his home pretty much.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Never not one time. And you're down in the New York City, or that's where you're kind of based out of, correct?
Yeah. I'm a New York guy.
Yeah, and not even down there.
Not even, nope. Even now, we'll be in the same locker room arguing for hours. I'll go have my match. He'll go have his match. We'll both get wiped down, whatever. Get right back into each other's faces and just crazy for hours on end. The show's over. We'll shake each other's hands out of respect. Quick smile, because you know how we both are. And then immediate separation. All this stuff. There were 2 singles champions, as you know, 2 singles championships in TOS. I had the K1 Classic trophy. He was the TOS heavyweight champion. Neither of us ever touched that entire time period or before. Nothing.
Well, you did touch on you were the K1 Classic Trophy champion, because they Test of Strength is really cool with that. They use it as a championship, but it's a trophy cup. That's pretty cool. I like that concept with it. It's not like a yearly thing.
And at the time, even when throughout the tournament, the tournament's over, I managed to, due to a lot of circumstances with the firm, actually grab that trophy away from Hippie Diffie Moon. Yeah, I'm not a fan either. But getting that trophy, and then the next thing that came up on social media is, hey guys, should this have to be defended, or is this going to be a yearly competition? I thought it was a yearly competition, and I had the championship. I was like, excuse me, I have to defend it. I had no idea.
You had no clue that you were to defend it as a championship.
They made the decision after the tournament was over, when different fans said that they would love to see it defended. That's when it became a thing. Yeah.
Wow. So our influence kind of brought that in?
Yeah, it was a big part of it. They put up that whole thing on Instagram and Facebook. I didn't see the results, but I know what happened. That's I get a call. Hey, you have to defend this. I'm like, okay, great.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I know you do still frequent, and when we get back, I know you'll still frequent in Test of Strength. So, I mean, I don't. If you're watching, either Mr. Slick, Mr. Alex, the GMIC, come on, man, Dan the Man, Brother Greatness, give him a little mix-up. And I know Dan the Man's just going to brush you off, but I know what Brother Greatness can do in the ring. And if Dan the Man looks by you, he's got something else coming. So,
hey, thank you kindly. And if I get my hands on Dan the Man, I think it's going to be a very enjoyable experience for anybody who's watching that program, because that's been, we've had this issue for coming on 3 years now. Myself, him, Dash and D1000, even Corey Dillinger gets involved over here and there. It gets very very hectic with our issues.
Man, when a little normalcy comes back, man, we got some stuff to. The higher ups, the higher brass of some of these promotions around here, you guys got to step up and get some of this stuff going, because we, the fans, we love storylines, and both of you on your own do your very and it's underselling it, a very fantastic job, because Dan the Man's way over the top with his mouth and his, and peeing on the fans and stuff.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we're Brother Greatness. He's uplifting. The fans get behind him. He lifts us up. We lift him up. It's a cool little relationship. Yeah. So your storylines and his storylines, very, very opposite, polar opposite, if you will. So a first time, I would love to see that, a singles. And again, Dan the Man, don't you be looking by Brother Greatness. You should not do that. And I'm assuming he's gonna, if that ever occurs.
It's very, I mean, we'll see what happens with Dan the Man. I mean, say what you want about him, but two big things: the man is talented, and the man is always gonna say whatever you don't expect him to say. So let's see what he does.
And nobody's taken that belt from him. Not even close in test of strength. Not yet. Not one time.
Not yet. But someone has to eventually, and I wouldn't mind bringing it to the altar.
Yeah. I wasted too much time saying Dan the Man's time way too many times. I apologize. But good. The stories, that's what I love in wrestling. Is that something that you were, as a fan, the storytelling, or was it the maneuvers, or what grasped Brother Greatness into wrestling?
It's, to be honest, it was a mix. Like, I loved seeing the awesome maneuvers, your angles, your Dean Malenko's really just going out there and just putting on these beautiful, beautiful works of art within the ring. But what's the purpose of seeing all that if you don't know why? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the reasoning for that? And when I actually started training as a wrestler, and I was so focused on let's get all these submissions going and all this cool stuff, but then I started realizing, like, why am I wrestling? And that's kind of when Brother Greatness was kind of born, because I realized I really wanted to focus more on God and taking what I love and really bring it up to the Most High. Just my own personal faith, personal religion. I don't expect everyone to like follow it or what have you, but it's just me, And I said, let me give this that I love so much. Let me just give it to God. Like, what's a bigger show of faith than just saying this is yours, instead of trying to do a different gimmick or trying to show off my flag or whatever else I was thinking about doing. Let's give it to God. So when it became about God, it started becoming more about stories as related to my Lord and Savior. So now the stories are more important to me than any submit. Even if you watched a lot of my work at this, when's the last time you see me do a submission outside of a side headlock? Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
But you know what does happen, my friend? When you bring us in just by saying, in the name of, and you do your thing, or hallelujah, and we just work with, oh my goodness, the crowd reacts. Not half the time, not 3/4 of the time, every single time you do that stuff in the ring, we react and we come right back with it. And my word, is it so much fun.
I'm glad you guys enjoy, because you know what it is? I always feel like, even when I step back and I'm saying as a fan, you can feel when someone's telling you the truth. Like, I don't go out there and portray anything. I am just being me. 100%.
And that's what they say that builds the best characters, because we like to talk character on Stirring the Pot. If it's an extension of yourself, but that wrestling amped up a bit, or amped up a lot, it's much easier to create that character than it is, like you were trying to describe, is from scratch. There's nothing there. What do? Oh, I got to make up some kooky name. I'm going to put on some kooky gear. And no, you're like, you know what? I'm taking what I love and I'm going to incorporate it, and we're going to see how it goes. And I think that from here, it's just going to keep going higher, because, man, you're so entertaining and fantastic in the ring. So that package brings it all together as a wrestler, you know?
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, honestly, I always say to people, especially like younger people who are trying to get involved, just like, stop worrying about making something up. You can tell when something's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you as a human being? And
Right.
let's portray that to the people. That's all it should really be. And the people who do that, you can always tell.
So you use your faith and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. How does the name Brother Greatness come about?
Okay, so greatness, there's a, I forget the exact Bible verse, but but the idea is that greatness is found in servitude. So you'll read a lot about Jesus's plight and story, and it's always service, healing, that kind of thing, washing his disciples' feet, that kind of deal, and that all is what encompasses what truly makes Jesus great. So in order to be his son or his follower, a friend of his, a disciple, etc., you should have a mindset of servitude. So brother greatness is really just a nicer way of saying a brother who serves. So
Okay.
every match I have, I'm trying to create a service in some way or fashion. And even when you see any of my promos, you'll immediately see, like, it's not, hey, I'm trying to beat this guy up. It's like, no, how are we gonna do, like, what are we trying to get to? At Hippie Dicky Moon, it was, I see you're trying to get peace out there. Let's try to send out the peace in a different fashion, though. Let's get less of the 70s vibe and get more of peace and praise. Let's put it all together and send it out to the people as we fight for this K1 Classic trophy. Mm-hmm. And like, the match is still gonna happen. I still want to win. I definitely still want to win, but I also want to send out a message. And with me and Hippie Dicky, I felt like that happened because the entire match, all you're hearing is hallelujah, peace, hallelujah, peace. It was the kindest fight ever. Like, it was very kind with the words, not so much with the strikes. But is that whole concept, honestly, it's service in the name of the Lord is really what Brother Greatness is about.
Watch, excuse me, I don't have the COVID. I just got a little something, and so anywho, watching yourself as a smaller guy go against another smaller guy as Dicky Moon, that was a fantastic. I'm telling you, sir. I love wrestling. I love every many aspects. Not every. Some I don't like, but anywho, you and Dicky Moon very similar. You kind of like to do some fast paced action, and man, and the GMIC. He said that was going to be the match that he's been looking forward to for a long time. And I go, me too, out of the entire card. And Test of Strength is amazing, no matter where they go, what they do. I love me some Test of Strength. But that match specifically, there was a buzz about that. I'm not sure if you kind of realize that or not as a performer. Behind, around you, the fans, the GMIC, maybe a couple of the workers. We don't know. Maybe like a Ryan Frost. He's a fan of Brother Greatness on his prowess of wrestling. Maybe, Frost. He's kind of wishy-washy.
He's interesting.
But my point is, there was a buzz around that match, and I'm not sure you're aware of it. So I kind of just wanted to bring that up because as a fan, that's what we live for, is to go to Test of Strength and get to the buzz. The big shows that they're having on the road. So you guys knocked that out of the park, and I want to thank you as a fan. Great performance between both of you.
No, thank you for that. And honestly, I don't know about Hippie Dicky, but I didn't know that there was a big buzz about the match until after the match. I found out afterward. I hit the curtain, and there's a bunch of people who were watching in the back, and I'm like, why are you all here? Like, excuse me, please, because once again, I'm out in New York. So a lot of the stuff that happens is just whoop, whoop. I have no idea what's going on. I'll pull up into Connecticut, Massachusetts, what have you, and I'll just find out, like, what we got for that show. We actually got to the show extremely late. It was myself, Greg Jones, I believe Karen Bam Bam was in that car ride with us as well, and Osiris, who wasn't in the show, but he was just came to see what was going on. Pretty much a scout.
Right.
I show up. I see Hippie. I know we're wrestling. We're going on in about 20 minutes. I have none of my clothes on. I see him, shake his hand. You ready to have a match tonight? He's like, I'm glad you're here. I'm like, great, let's get out there. So no conversation was really had. We just we went out there and just did it.
So do you find it more comfortable to call it on the fly, as they would say, or to kind of build it before the match?
My preference is my preference is always to talk about it first. I'm unlike most of the other guys my size who like to talk about every little thing. I would rather just know, all right, how are we ending this? How are we starting? Great. That's now if someone wants to talk a lot, wants to know every little detail, I'm okay with that. If you have one of the older guys, a lot of the bigger guys like to just say, "Well, go out there, let's see what happens." I'm comfortable with that too, but my preference is always let's talk about the end, let's talk about the beginning. The rest of it, we'll figure it out. We'll have some fun out there. The crowd will get into it. It's going to be a good time. With me and Hippie, it was just a need. Like we didn't really have time to talk, so we just went out there and did it. Yeah.
To create such a performance in front of us and for yourself, because you get that gratification of, man, and I know you're your own worst critic. I'm my own worst critic, and I get that. But is there ever a point where you're like, after your match, you're like, man, I think we just did a fantastic job right there.
I think that's happened probably about 3 times, maybe four. Actually, that wasn't one of those nights. That
That's
actually wasn't one
okay.
of those nights.
Give us
Um,
at least one.
Let me think. Out of Connecticut, shockingly, actually, my one-on-one contest with Karen Bam Bam. That one felt right at the end. I don't know why. It just felt really. It felt good. It felt like a really good contest.
Working with Karen Bam Bam, what a gem she is. Holy cow.
Sweetheart.
In, out, the charisma. She's cute as a button. Everything about Karen Bam Bam, I absolutely love. Even when she's the heel or the bad guy, I still love her. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's something about her.
There is. Now, at a training day, she, wow, you had to go against her in a very intimate setting at Tessa Strength in East Hartford. As Brother Greatness said, there's about 30 seats at best
At
in
best.
a room with a ring. And when it's intimate, it's almost a little extra intimate. But man, I love those settings. And here comes Brother Greatness. Here comes Karen Bam Bam. And my dad, oh my God, he's like, oh, he's dead. And I go, no, Brother Greatness, he's got some smarts up there, and I know he can win this. And you know the things, and I'm sorry it's at your demise, and it always is, but your facial expressions are money, as they say, because you'll get choked out and you make sure it's on the hard cam, where obviously that's where the fans are sitting. We're on that side.
Same spot, yep.
You get choked out on the second rope, and it just wasn't Karen Bam Bam, but this one very specifically sticks out because it's Karen Bam Bam.
Yeah.
And she draped her leg around and kind of just leaned right on you, and you do this whole thing, and you start yelling like, oh God, help me, please, Ref Bill, what are you doing? And those things, I lose my ever living gourd, Brother Greatness. That stuff is amazing. How do you come up with that stuff on the fly? Is it just kind of natural for you?
It's just kind of, I mean, you have 260 pounds of Cam Bam Bam leaning on you. Trust me, you are gonna scream out too. Like that's you're not just gonna hang out. Yes, it's very much it's something I never even think about. It's just you get put in those situations, and it's weird for wrestling because the fakeness of wrestling, but with so many of these indie guys and girls, they're gonna make sure that you're there to sell for them. So someone like Karen loves to keep it snug. She's gonna put a little weight on you, and if she doesn't think you feel it, she'll make sure you feel it. So we're gonna just skip that part altogether and let her know that I understand what's happening to me right now. This is that's a big strong chick.
I believe in the very near future on my calendar, I have penciled in one Karen Bam Bam. So I am very looking forward to that.
Oh geez. Oh man.
Yeah.
You guys if you bring me up to Karen Bam Bam, you're either gonna hear a whole lot of love or a whole lot of just disdain, depending on the day you get. We have a very love-hate relationship.
Well, I want to get back to that little selling part, as you know, we were talking about. Now, you're the only guy that I hear being vocal, though. Like most men or women would get up to their, they kind of get their position. The opponent gets on them. They start doing their thing, but they're not trying to just bring us in a little bit more. They're selling. They're using their facial expressions, or they're doing that kind of stuff. But you bring it up a notch, and I always love that about you, because you always give that little bit of extra that not everybody does in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think it's really just a matter of, I think it goes back to the why are you wrestling? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. A lot of the people there, they're strictly focused on only the win. Sometimes I wish I was only focused on the win and make life a little easier. But I'm also trying to get some kind of message out that day. Sometimes I successfully do so, sometimes not as much, but I'm always trying to get some kind of idea, message, ideology, something that everyone can go back home with and be like, that was cool, that was fun, that was interesting. But he said something about so-and-so somewhere in there. Like, he lost the match and he said, we fall down, but we get back up. It's like, I had a really hard week. If he could get up, I could get up too. Like, I'm trying to get something else out there, so I have to put in that extra. How it's not going to happen if I'm not vocal.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. A great part of the package that it takes to be a wrestler. Your promos always good. Something that I've never even asked anyone yet, and it just kind of, again, I'm not all that, but your promos, because they're very creative. First takes, many takes. How does Brother Greatness kind of?
Typically, I'm a one-take guy. I refuse to do more than 3 takes. If I have to do if I do 2 takes and I don't like them for whatever reason, or someone interrupted, the camera died, it wasn't actually recording, all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. By the 3rd take, I'm just like, okay, I don't care what comes out my mouth. It's going up. And I don't like to edit promos. I should. It's so rare that I actually edit a promo, so I'll literally record it and send it out the way it is. And yeah, as long as it's not like in a basement or in a car, in the back seat of a car or something, I'm usually pretty open about where it's done. It's usually outside. It's very open space.
I'm not a fan of the car promo, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I don't see the. Why would he? Like, I think I have maybe in all these years, I think I maybe have like 2 promos that happened in a car. And both times within a few days, I get mad and say, this is unacceptable, and just do a brand new promo. So, yeah, no, car promos, boiler room promos, I'm not a big fan of those.
So, your character, Brother Greatness, obviously very religious driven. Now, your colors, very shiny, very flashy. How did the whole getup of your gear come about?
So for my blue and yellow, my main color is my blue and yellow mitts. That's just based off my flag. My family, they're all from the island of Barbados. And I actually formerly worked in Barbados, and like I spent a lot of time there. It's pretty much home. If something crazy happened in the States and I needed to run away, I would go rent an apartment in Barbados because I know where I'm going. Like it's my other house. I know how to open a bank account there. I know all the information. We're good to go. Tons of family out there. So that's just from the flag. The purple, which I wear in TOS a lot, that's actually from Dash. That's from Dashing D.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big Prince fan, Prince guy. So all his gear, 9 times out of 10, is purple. So when we formed the congregation officially, and we decided like, okay, what are we gonna do here? He's like, well, I wear purple. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll wear purple now too. So that's really off of Dash. And then the black would be from Omega Black, back when myself, Osiris, Greg Jones, and Dash were together in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm. Now you've spoke of a couple factions. We talk about the congregation. We talk about Omega Black. Omega Black, right?
Yeah, Omega Black. Yeah.
I have so many names and factions in this poor one brain cell. I don't want to get nothing wrong.
There's a lot of them.
There is. Now, you talked about Omega Black like it's not together anymore. Is that correct?
Omega Black still exists, but right now, like I don't work in the formerly known MAW, which is now RUW, I believe. I just don't work there anymore. Just
Okay.
scheduling, it just
Hmm.
doesn't work out. It's like you have to be there, but you have to be in Springfield at the exact same time.
Right.
You got to be in Connecticut, the Bronx, and Rhode Island the same day. It's just after a while, something had to give.
Hmm.
And then I know Dash and Greg had their breakup over there recently as well. Uh, and Omega Black was in SWF in Jersey, but SWF has their long-term hiatus right now.
Hmm.
So it's just, where is Omega Black? So that's why I keep speaking about it as though it's something of the past. Because if Greg and Dash aren't together, and I'm not in
Right.
Rhode Island, then is there really an Omega Black to speak of?
No, no, not really. Not
Yeah.
not at all.
Now the
Now
congregation's very busy.
it, they are very busy and relevant. I have to say because you guys have a lot of fun together. Now for those that don't know Omega Black, as he said, the ringleader, if you will, Greg Jones would hand out Omega Black cards and try to recruit people into Omega Black, and
Yep.
it didn't matter who it was. He even gave me one. Like, wait, I'm
Yep.
gonna be an Omega Black.
Yeah, he had a whole
So,
plan.
I still got the card. I do. I still got the card.
I'm
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised.
did he ever recruit even one person? That has been killing me.
There's actually there's one person who very much wants to be down officially down with Omega Black. He's like the unspoken backstage Omega Black guy. That's the big dog out of MAW. Yeah,
I,
he really wanted in. Yeah, he was talking about it. He was very interested. He was very interested.
I did not see that coming at all because
Legitimately, he was very interested. Yep.
I'm very familiar with some Mr. Big Dog, if you will.
Yes.
Woo, man. Uh, wow. You
Yeah,
kind
he
of
was
took
very
me for a ride there, my friend. Interesting. Keep a lookout. Let's see what happens with that. I mean, I'm very interested in that.
You never know.
No, you don't. The congregation, please explain to the fans how you kind of got together, what it stands for, what you do with us, the fans, and yourself. Man, you guys, man, you're awesome. Explain. Take us on a little journey of the congregation.
Yeah, definitely. So the congregation was actually birthed from Omega Black. Uh, it was just myself and Dash talking about tagging up together more often because Dash and Greg weren't always in the same place at the same time to tag, especially at TOS at the time. And we knew this tag team tournament was coming up eventually.
Mhm.
So myself and Dash, we talked about it. We were going to enter in as Omega Black. And Dash at that specific day was just like, I don't know, man. I want to do something different. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, I'm because he's also Dash is also very much a church boy, very
Mhm.
very much a church boy. So we're talking. He's like, man, we need to just do some of that. Like, I want to spread the word. We're gonna get the praise train going. And I'm like, the praise train. I was like, I like how that sounds. And we just keep talking and all on this train ride from the Bronx back to Brooklyn. And we're just talking about everything. Before the end of that train ride, we already worked out music, gear, the name, because we've been working together for years. So it's just a matter of, well, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. And I promise you, we planned so little when it comes to the entrance. We planned the music, but we just come out. We were just being ourselves, just trying to have a good time. And you guys always have a good time with us. It's always very much appreciated.
Yeah, every single time, might I say.
Always a good time. And it's just me and Dash being me and Dash. It's how we are in the car rides, everything.
That's got to make it so much more enjoyable and maybe just, and I know wrestling is not easy. I'm not trying to say that, but just a little bit easier when you're with a brother of yours. You're putting part of what you enjoy for real in life and bringing it into your character, having fun with the fans and talking about these cool little ideas on the road or what have you. Or man, that just has to be a smidge easier than it is for a couple guys trying to make a tag team, and I'll just use the Ascension hypothetically, right? The Ascension, you got to create characters. You got to be this, you got to be that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you guys, it's got to be just a tad easier. I would
Absolutely.
think.
Absolutely, because then you get to be a real tag team. You get to spend that time to determine how you want to be, what you want to look like, and I'll be honest. At first, we take everything seriously, but we weren't that concerned with it. We're just like, yeah, this is something we're gonna do. We're gonna take care of it. No one had any idea who was gonna be the tag team champions. Dash and I were like, it could be us. Let's do it. Let's get serious. Let's really push it. And we enjoyed that ride so much. We got so far in the tournament. We got so much positive feedback that we just decided that, yeah, this is going to be something we do as much as possible. I think we tag together a minimum of 2 shows a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're thinking about my single schedule and his group schedule, it gets 2 is a lot for us.
It starts adding up.
Yeah. When you're doing a show every Saturday, almost every Sunday, and almost every Friday, it gets a little crazy.
Now we've talked a lot of TOS. I kind of want to, because you did jump in on a card subject to change. I had somebody fall off at 5 p.m. Brother Greatness stepped up with the healing hands, the helping hands, and so before I get too far into this, there's a little thing going on the face page down in your home base around the BWF, the Bronx Wrestling Federation. And I've been noticing a buzz more on the face page because obviously we're kind of cooped up now, way more lately, between the Zoltan, and there's a female that's associated with the Zoltan. What is going on with Brother Greatness and this whole whirlwind? Fill us in. Who are they? What's their names? Because the fans, I want to be able to spread the personalities.
Okay, so there's two separate Facebook issues that have been going on for quite some time. The first one with the tag team, the Zoltan, Christopher Cage and Superstar Whiplash. When I was coming up in the game, 2011, 2012, those two, even though they weren't the official trainers at the Ludus, Joel Maximo, SAT, they used to help me out a lot. So they were a big part of legitimately teaching me how to wrestle. All these years later, we just always get into it about little things. But myself and Chris Cage had a whole rivalry late last year for the BWF Cruiserweight Championship. I thought all that was resolved, but at the second to last Bronx Wrestling Federation's show, the Zoltan attacked me to get some political gain, to then get into the Battle Bowl, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with that. But in any case, it just fled over to Facebook because the issues with them is just very real and it's very long term. And it's just like they trained me, and they more or less trained me, so they like to, take a lot of liberties with how they speak to me and what they say and what they do. And I have to oftentimes remind them that that's not how this is going to go. And the clash is a lot. Now, with the young lady, that's JL Kodo, who's probably one of the most talented female wrestlers, if not the most talented female wrestlers in the Northeast. Legitimate Taekwondo champion, like practiced in, I think, 4 or 5 martial arts legitimately, including like judo. She's a boxer, all this stuff, legitimately trained, straight shoot. She's an animal. We got into it because of height. She won a championship in Pennsylvania like 2 years ago, WSWC4, and I made fun of her because I said the title belt was taller than she was, and I think it legitimately is. Because the young lady's about 4'10" on a good day, so I gave her some problems, and then she immediately came after me, and it's just been war ever since on a daily basis. And we both desperately, it's another person I really just want to get in the ring with, because even though it's a young lady, she can legitimately fight you and possibly kill a man. And I'm willing to take that risk, because that match needs to happen. We need to handle this problem, because we've been arguing on Facebook for 2 years. This is almost as bad as Dan the boy. Almost as bad as Daniel the kid.
I got to tell you, as a fan, I find it just some of the most comical roasting I've ever witnessed on Face Page. It is hilarious. Oh my God. It is so much fun. And then, Chris Cage, Whiplash, they add their little sauce to it. And Man, you guys just doing this back and forth. I cannot stop stalking. I cannot stop following you guys on this, man. I mean, it's so much fun. And again, as a fan, I appreciate it. So if I can, I know many more are. I just find it freaking hilarious. Um, obviously you're very you're very comfortable on the old social media stuff, huh?
Yep, definitely. Instagram and Facebook, especially. Yep.
Yeah. Now, I usually do it at the tail end, but in case I forget, give us the fans how we can find Brother Greatness on the Twitter and stuff.
Definitely. So it's going to be Brother Greatness on Facebook. That's the Facebook like page. Just type in Brother Greatness, I'll pop up. Same thing, Brother Greatness for YouTube. Instagram is Brother Greatness 2012. So that's Brother Greatness 2012, all one big thing. Yeah, those. As long as you type in Brother Greatness, you're gonna find me. The only one that's different is the Instagram, Brother Greatness 2012. Yeah,
Curious, 2012 represent anything specific?
Yeah, that was the year of my first match.
Really? Excellent. You know what? Fantastic question, Brother Greatness. Who was your first match against?
Just like most people, it was a big, good old-fashioned battle royal, like everybody else. Just one big old battle royal, and then against a wrestler who's now a battle rapper by the name of Panic in Brooklyn in the Ludus. So those are my first two. Yep.
So do you prefer, because you do many of both, do you prefer singles? Do you prefer tag? Pros and cons for both, I would imagine. Or you just love wrestling, let's get it on.
If I had to choose one, let's get it on. You know, like just get the pro wrestling going. I guess singles, if I have to absolutely choose, just because I'm more accustomed to it, I've done it longer, and I've done it more.
Right.
You know, the tag team stuff is great. Me and Dash know each other well. Really enjoy it, or else honestly we wouldn't be doing it. But the singles work for me is kind of more my bread and butter. I've won 4 championships as a singles competitor already. I know what I'm doing. I'm comfortable. Tag team, we're still working out the kinks, and I think we're getting there as a team. I think we really are. So yeah, that might change. Ask me again in like a year. That might be different.
Hey, I would love to do a follow-up, and I would schedule it. I wouldn't just say, hey, willy-nilly, who wants to come on? And Brother Greatness gives me the helping hand. Now, let's talk BWF again. Is that your home base right now? Could we say that?
It's weird. It's weird to say it. It's not so much home base. It is my primary place in a way. The thing with BWF is right now, just based on fan reaction, I seem to be their kind of main guy with the Cruiserweight Championship. No disrespect to Dominic De Niro or TJ Marconi or Bronco International.
No, not at all.
But that's just what it seems right now. I seem to be their main guy. And I'm pushed very, very hard on their social media and everything. I'm usually very late on the card at this point. And I think because of that prominence on their show, I think everyone immediately just says, oh, Brother Greatness is the Bronx guy. And it's kind of nice sometimes. Other times it's a little annoying because it's like, yeah, I'm a Bronx guy. I also was the K1 Classic champion at TOS. I was also a mid-card champion in Rampage Pro Wrestling and MAW. I wrestle in 7 different states and the Dominican Republic. I wasn't trained in the Bronx. I was trained twice. Once before my injury and after my injury. I've been trained twice in Brooklyn and in Queens. I don't live in the Bronx. I reside in Brooklyn. I mean, I go there and work out very often, but it's not even my primary school where I train right now. I love that place. It is great. But I have nothing against it, but it's hard for me to just say it is my primary home. It's my favorite place to be right now. But
so when you do go to train regularly, where do you find yourself going to train?
I kind of set myself up for that.
You did.
I did. So it's something I've more or less been keeping quiet as of late. But I have been training at the House of Glory for a couple months. So yeah, that's something I've been keeping very, very quiet. But yeah, it's been very, very enjoyable. But that's where I guess home would be right now.
Nice. Hey,
training there right now and just trying to get better.
You're a great character. You're amazing in the ring. You can only get better from here because the sky's the limit for Brother Greatness. That I do know. Now, before I do let you go, I have to find out how does it feel to be the first ever of something? Because correct me if I'm wrong, BWF had this Cruiserweight Championship. They've never had one. They've been around for a little bit. Brother Greatness becomes the first ever Cruiserweight Champion. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
When you get through that whole thing, sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. Take us just on a short journey how that went.
Yeah, that was, for lack of a better term, that was a hot mess. It was a 1-day tournament, and I was double booked that night. So I wrestled in, I wrestled in Rhode Island, MAW against CJ Price. We had a match, and that match, CJ actually got knocked out from a crossbody. It was a whole mess. Took him to the back. He had a concussion, whole 9 yards. And that was in a 1-on-1 match with me. So then we jump back in the car, book it way too many miles per hour down back to the Bronx. And, we're hearing, where everybody is in the tournament. They don't want to tell anyone who's winning what at all. So you're just finding things out as you go. So I do my first match. I win in the first round. I'm sitting in the back waiting to find out who my opponent's going to be for round 2. I find out maybe 10 minutes before. As my music hits, by the way, you got to go out there and win. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Go. Then I find out I'm in the finals. I see this guy Mantis, who at the time I had no idea who Mantis was. Had never met him, never heard of him, knew nothing about him. And I'm in the back, and I get pulled to the side. So listen, we weren't going to tell you this quickly, but you're going to win. And I'm like, what do you mean this quickly? We're nets. And I'm like, what do you mean? And myself and Mantis, he's trying to call the match to me. I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear anything. Let's go out there and fight. I don't care. We're just going to go out there and we're going to fight. It's great. And I'm finding out all this other storyline stuff that needs to happen. I was attacked by the Sasujin squad right after. Then I was saved, and a whole bunch of mess occurred. So when I went out there, wrestled Mantis, never been more nervous in my life about a match.
Really?
For freaking out. Because I didn't expect to win the belt. I thought I was going to be at the time, I had only won one match in the Bronx. I had wrestled there for a year, but I had only won one match in my time there. So I was like, why would I win the championship? So I was the crowd was always behind me, but I'd never used to win. So I assumed I'd be in a battle royal and probably get eliminated very late. So at that point, I had 3 matches, drove between the Bronx and Rhode Island, knocked the guy out, had a crazy fatal 5-way. Kiki Van Gogh, did a Michinoku drive to Kono. It was just craziness. And now I'm wrestling this jacked up bug man I've never met in my life, with no match plan, but he has a whole match in his head, and he's trying to do what he wants to do, and I'm just like, we're going to fight, dude. We're just going to fight. And match shockingly came out very well, and I cried like a baby for about 20 minutes. Yeah, it was a first championship ever, and winning it in the Bronx was actually really special.
Thank you for taking the fans on a ride, because we would never, all right? We could see you at the merch table. We could take a picture. We could shake your hand, maybe talk, for a minute or two, but we would never hear this kind of sharing from Brother Greatness unless you spent the time and were interested on coming to talk to us. So I can't even thank you enough, Brother Greatness, for that. That was very nice of you.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually do this,
Oh, man. And I've got so much more. I could talk to you, for another 5 hours, but you don't want to talk to me for that long. But, I have plenty more I could say. So if maybe we could do a follow-up in the future, I would love to have you back.
Hey, I'm 100% down for that, Kincaid.
Man, this was beautiful. I learned so much. I've seen him die. I've seen him come back. I've seen him have a great time. I've seen him choked out by Karen Bam Bam and amongst others. I'm sorry. It's your demise. You, my friend, take myself, take my father, and all of the fans that I know. You take us on a great ride. We love Brother Greatness. I can't wait to see what the future brings for Brother Greatness. Like I said, it can't go anywhere but higher. And you, my friend, I give you a big hallelujah, my friend.
Oh, hallelujah and amen, Brother Kincaid.
Yeah. Yes, my man. This was, man, I feel like a tear coming down. I forgot what the heck I was supposed to say. This was, again, stirring the pot with Don Kincaid and my healing hands, my helping hands, my very special guest, Brother Greatness. Thank you again, my friend.
My pleasure, brother, man. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, brother.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.